McCarthy's Pub is ready for some football, and they hope you are too. Gather up all your friends and head to McCarthy's to watch Monday night or Thursday night football. And if you're looking to fill your belly for a great price and surround yourself with good folks, stop in on Tuesday nights and get the McCarthy's Slider Special. 3 sliders and fries for only $3.50. Plus, McCarthy's Pub has food and drink specials daily. Good food, good drinks, and great people. McCarthy's Pub. Meet your friends there. 221 East 3rd in Pittsburgh.
Hi, everybody. Tom Van Hoy with this week's Pitt State Women's Volleyball Insider Show with head coach Ibraheem Suberu. Brought to you by McCarthy's Pub and Grub. Pitt State now 9-10 on the year, 3-5 in the MIAA. Lost 3-0 at home to Northwest Missouri last week before winning 3 matches in Joplin at the Missouri Southern Tournament over the weekend. Beat East Central Oklahoma 3-0 and Arkansas Tech 3-1, both those matches on Saturday, and then knocked off Southeast Oklahoma State on Sunday 3-1. Here's women's volleyball coach Ibraheem Suberu on the play of his team last week.
We did great to finish the weekend. The recovery between the loss to winning 3 matches was good to see. We're still trying to find our formula of just being consistent and focusing through each match. We finished 3 in a row and winning 1 doesn't seem to be too challenging either. But it was definitely a great finish. 3-1 is better than 0-1. So it was great. The players, everybody bought into the changes that we noticed we didn't do well on Thursday against Northwest. And maybe it's something about the road. We seem to have played better on the road with better record, better focus than at home.
Well, you're in the process of playing 7 straight on the road, so that could be a good sign, right?
It looks like it. Once in a while, you have a team that you just can't put your hand on the pulse, and this team seems to do well on the road, which is, for a young team, you think it will be the opposite, that, everybody wants to do great at home, which is what usually is supposed to be, defend your home and then get a few wins on the road. We're getting more wins on the road. So right now, we're kind of scratching our head. Go figure.
Yeah. Well, against Northwest, though, competitive, 25-18, and, it's no moral victories, obviously, but 25-20 and 25-20, so it looked like you were in each one of those ball games.
We were. The challenge for us is the maturity to take care of the little things. I think you and I talked about it in a few of our visits in the past. When you have control over the ball on your side and you're not doing a good job, you don't get rewarded. Unlike basketball or football or other sports, when you have a turnover, it's a turnover. But ours, every turnover is a point to the opponent. And when you have multiple executions that are going the other way, that really hurt. So in the crucial times where we're very close to Northwest, we made some errors, and our focus was not as strong as it should be. And again, we're addressing it as coaches. It's just hard to take care of it in game because the players that are doing it are very, very good players, and it's just one of those things where we're still trying to grapple. We're dealing with it. They're responding to it. Obviously, that is why we won 3 matches on the road. Was the focus was much more there. The attention to detail and taking care of the little things, serve and pass. If the set's not good enough, keeping the ball in play, and pretty much working really hard through every process, every set, every point. Those things were done overnight. So we're excited going forward, and we hope we can retain all the changes that we've seen and retain it as we move forward.
Tom Van Hoy visiting, as we do each week, with Ibraheem Suberu, the women's volleyball coach at Pitt State. So it's kind of nice, wasn't it, against East Central to win 25-16 and 25-10 and 25-11. Kind of had that match in hand, I guess, huh?
It was definitely incredible focus. I've seen that focus before, and when we have our team leaders, both veterans and new players that are pretty much very focused on taking care of the ball, a lot of good things happen. So East Central was a very good team going into it. Obviously, we've played them in the past, and we won against them. So there might be a factor of maybe because we've beaten them in the past on their side, but to our side, after the loss on Thursday, the focus we saw was very, very strong from the beginning till the end. We didn't give them a lot of points. When we took a look at the breakdown of point scoring, it was incredible. We were pretty much at a plus 16, 17 range, giving up only about 5 points per set. And that's good. When you're giving up only about 5 points per set, you're forcing the other team to have to score 20 to beat you. And it wasn't that kind of match for them. It was for us.
You haven't had many like that this year, but from a coaching standpoint, when you have a lead like that, you're able to win those games by those margins. Are you able to get some other players into the game that you have been able to, or how does that work, I guess, in volleyball?
Well, it works both ways. When you can see that the signs are there, that there's a high focus on the side of your veterans and those that you're counting on to take a lead, and they're leading the right way, certainly in the closing moment of each set, you're able to insert a player or two. And in this kind of match, we got several players in that hadn't typically gotten more opportunity to get on the court due to the nature of up and down that we've had this year. But yes, we did get several players in, and the momentum certainly carried to them as well, because they were able to do their part once they were in.
I mean, is there, from a continuity standpoint, and I maybe it depends on which position some of your players play when you get them in there, but is that what you're looking for, the continuity? Do you like to play the same players as much as you can to a certain extent?
To a certain extent, to create rhythm and consistency, there's certain players that pretty much have the edge, but then you have multiple players in the same position that still have some experience but not as consistent. But when you get a huge lead, you're able to give such players that are doing great a rest, and then the players that are pretty much still coming up and maybe not as good as the ones that you're resting, a chance to go in and continue tactically the same system. They might not just be hitting hard, they might not be jumping too high, or they might just basically lack some basic experience, but at the same time, they play the same position. The players you're giving a rest to, they play the same position, so they're able to get some opportunity to get some reps in a match environment, which definitely builds self-confidence going forward.
Well, after you beat East Central, turn back around, and probably not too long after that, you take on Arkansas Tech and win it 3-1, 25-21, drop 25-21, and then 19 and 21. Winning the final two there. Is it tough to turn around that quickly and play another match, particularly when you played on the Thursday night before?
In volleyball being the way it is, all of the teams are facing the same dynamics, where you have to prepare for 3-4 matches with only 2 days or 3 days during the week to prepare. But with us, there's a template that we use for all matches, but there's also the way that we go about making sure that the things that we focus on most of the time are just the things that we have control over. So the turnaround time really is not as long, just because we know we have certain things that we have to take care of much more than the opponent. So when we get into a tournament situation where we played within 3 hours, we have to turn around and play another match, we already know the things that we're supposed to take care of. And if we do those things well, then in-game adjustments can be made easily. But outside of the game, we focus on certain template of execution, serve, pass, offensive templates. And then as we get in, coaches, we have videos. Our players don't have the time to watch those videos because there's too many things on their plate. So we're able to make some tactical adjustments as the match goes on, provided the things that we're supposed to be doing, we're taking care of it. If we're not taking care of the things we have control over, forget the tactics. There's nothing we can do about the opponent. We have to start focusing on ourselves even more.
I was going to ask you, just from a pure game planning standpoint, I don't know if you'd seen Arkansas Tech play or how you put together how you want to play them or attack them, because you probably haven't seen too much of them, have you?
Yeah, we had video on them, but because the video are a little bit further weeks back, because once we're all in conference, you cannot get videos of your conference matches and give it to opponents. So their conference team members will not give us their videos either. So the videos that we had are from non-conference matches, which was 2-3 weeks old. But that gives us a basic idea of how they serve, their passing, their typical offense, typical blocking scheme, and typical defensive scheme. So we have some information, but then once we get into the game, if there's been some changes, we have to take a look at it and compare notes with what we had before and what is going on live. But so we do have some ideas going into it.
So then you come back and have another match the next day against Southeast Oklahoma. And, you got off to a good start there, 25-13, 25-18. Dropped the next set 26-24. Maybe a little bit of a momentum shift there for Southeast Oklahoma, but nice to finish it off there, wasn't in the fourth, 25-19.
Absolutely. I think what was going on in the third set was a couple of mistakes on our side, things that we've seen before. But when the opportunity presented itself, we inserted one player that she's a freshman, been training for quite a while, but really stepped up in that fourth set, Maggie Heiberger, and went 12 attempts, 6 kills, 1 hit and arrow. And she really was the catalyst for that fourth set because the momentum has swung to Southwestern Oklahoma's side just because we're not handling point-scoring efforts, we're not handling defensive efforts, and our ball handling was definitely getting suspect. But it was great to see in that fourth set to see the rally from the team. Crystal Wheaton played very focused, very disciplined. Madison Mosier had a great match for us, including Paula Krutner. But overall, I think Maggie Heiberger, freshman from Kansas City, really did a great job in that fourth set, taking advantage of the opportunity she had.
Well, you turn back around, you play in Joplin against Missouri Southern. What kind of team do they have?
Well, they're an up-and-coming. They're better than they were last year, much better than their record indicates. They're playing at home, a very athletic team. In fact, I believe they're probably the most athletic team in the league, with probably 2 or 3 players touching over 9'11". That's close to basketball rim. So they can play high above the net, good defense at the net. So on our side, we just have to basically be consistent with our serve and pass, give our setters a good passing for her to give us the opportunity to make connections and hit around their block. If we're trying to challenge their block, nothing good will come out of it. So we're more prepared to focus on the little things much more than the big things. If they take care of those little things, we think it will be a very, 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 very good match. But again, Southern is playing at home, so they will definitely be doing everything to defend their home.
Well, then you've got 2 on the road, the Maryville Triangular as well. So you got a busy week coming up, William Jewell and Maryville as well. From a scheduling standpoint, and we just talked about the Missouri Southern tournament that you played, East Central Oklahoma and Arkansas Tech and Southeast Oklahoma. It seems like you're getting a lot of non-conference matches in during the course of the conference season.
Those are regional opponents. That's really helpful. When we schedule at the beginning, you focus on regional opponents that can give you a boost at the end of the year when postseason consideration are now coming into view. Obviously, our team and our scouting staff, we did not take a good advantage of the first weekend where we really blew it. But we're hoping that we can close that gap with these non-conference matches. So we did the schedule 2 ways. Opening weekend, middle of the season, to give us a chance, just in case, for whatever reason, the conference schedule is really much more tougher. We can get some non-conference wins, but they're still regional teams. And with those wins, when you do finish well at the end and you're tied with some teams for consideration for postseason, those might come in handy.
That's Pitt State women's volleyball coach Ibraheem Suberu on this week's edition of the PSU Women's Volleyball Insider Show. Brought to you by McCarthy's Pub and Grub. Gorillas do play at Missouri Southern at Joplin on Wednesday night, then 2 this weekend in St. Louis on Saturday at the Maryville Triangular there, before playing in St. Joe, Missouri Western October 24. 7 straight road matches for Pitt State before returning home on October the 25th. We'll play 4 straight at home and 6 of the final 8 matches in Pittsburgh. I'm Tom Van Hoy.